Greetings, everyone. Greetings, Marika. Greetings to the community. I can see this is a real different from before when we just constantly worked. We now have 3,000 member in live broadcast when before we have less. I think it's time to work less and gather more audience. And that's a joke, by the way. Don't take it seriously. Okay, what we're gonna talk about today? Almost 3,000. Maybe we should have a little deal. Someone who think we're gonna exceed that part. We're gonna ruffle $50,000. That's a joke. That's a joke. Don't do that. Please don't do that. Or else you're gonna get bankrupt really fast. So about the trading platform, the deadlines, the official start of the work. If we go in step by step, starting from a technical part, as before, it is already prepared and now it's done. Now all we're waiting for is any confirmation from a legal part, exactly from a single exchange, the last one. So yes, we are waiting for move in that direction. About the name, I'm gonna announce it today, and about the deadline, I think we're gonna reveal that date either on the next Zoom this week or maybe before, after discussing with the conclave and so on. Reason is because since we go in from the legal direction, we still need a full confirmation and approval from regulators. And that includes trading, which is of course done, exchanging of assets, of crypto assets, which is done already. But the last part, of course, is the investment activity. We need to have a license to work with investment. And yes, that's exactly the part that we discussed a lot with the regulators and in which we're gonna dive a little deeper. Okay, so if we're talking about with what we currently have a fight, because there is no better word than that, is about the proceeding with verification for all the members. Yes, that's right. The regulator actually wants to have the whole community and all members to pass the verification, which is at the same time we have in a big community, and from one side it should be easy, just basically go and proceed through the button, going on Samsung and actually get verified. That's all done and done. But on the other side, we have a great amount of situation when people have multi accounts, when they have like two accounts on the same from the same device, or each account for the granddaughter who have 2 months, and obviously a great networker. Sarcasm, of course, but we initially, of course, want to transfer the whole structure intact. But if we go in with such decision to verify all the members, it means that there's gonna be a big empty gaps in the whole structure, and people wouldn't want to continue their work or couldn't possibly done it. So that's what we fighting with, because some exchanges using a different kind of system. It's before you passing or exceeding, more right to say, a certain volume yourself, you don't need to go through verification. Except for parts where you violating some rules or the regulators itself having a request to have verification on such person, because there is a blacklist, obviously, and they work in the same way as you can imagine. We have a person who have a certain activity or violate some rules, and we have requests for his verification and so on. That's basically the system that worked to actually make a person go out from the dark. But yes, and in the same time, we work in the cryptocurrency, which is initially work created for clients to work in such direction anonymously and without such system where tax companies could regulate you or track you or something. That's what I personally not liking, and with what we trying to discuss and fight back. That's the first point here. And if we're talking about the whole verification, that basically the first conditions to go and verify all the members before we could start our activity. But we in Word form, receive the confirmation that we could start working by the system I just explained to you before. Uh, Except for a little difference because we had a very similar experience with exchanges, and it showed exactly backfired at us when there was a dirty cryptocurrency in situation where, of course, all protocols go initiated, and we have violated this, violated that, and there's problem, this problem, which was not discussed. And from now on, we, of course, since we go in that way, we need the confirmation not only just in a paper form, but also with all the official approval and exactly state that we have rights to do this and that in case of working with such direction, with investment, with the trading, and so on. We need everything to be put it and confirmed. Because believe me, the penalty which is great, the penalty sanctions could be cost in millions of dollars, even billions sometimes, depending on the volume of the whole flow of funds inside different platforms. And we don't want that, of course, because in that case, we're gonna be blamed, and for sure, we're gonna be violated some rules, and we need to receive confirmation. That's the reason why we have a delay. We have postponed official start, even announcing the date. That's again only the first point here. Now to the second one. About the second part of it is since we're working with the companies and exchanges that provide us with liquidity, we need, of course, to state that information. For example, if the whole volume is 1 million, just approximately, just for example, we're gonna at the same time would have approved the amount of $200,000 in USDT equivalent that we can accept as investment by the rules that what regulators actually state for us. And that means we need to gather all the exchanges so we could actually see and let them know what kind of volume we can afford to accept as investment. Not only gather, by the way, but also confirm it by the documentation, by the contracts. And that means, for example, we have a direction of Canada, of course, with the four exchanges of liquidity. And the volume we can actually get from such amount of companies, and depending on their volume, is $50 million in USDT equivalent, if we're talking about that. And yes, of course, there is a question arise. What we going to do since we grow it in volume? And of course, we thought about that. Initially, we know that we're gonna grow, that we're gonna take new exchanges under our system, integrate them, work with them, and we discussed that we're gonna add at least one exchange every month. That's what we discussed with the regulators because they need a clear understanding of what the actual amount of investment we could manage. And at the same time, we know that we need not only to develop our arbitration system, our trading bots and security bots, any of that measurement, but we also need to develop our platforms, develop and advance our liquidity flow with the partnership with different exchanges and companies, because without that we couldn't actually proceed with growth. And that's really what we're supposed to get answer for yesterday, I guess. Yes, but for now we still didn't have such answer. And now we get into the third point, and we're gonna talk about what our own decision at the current realities, because of course it seems so sad, but what we can do to make it a little better for everyone. And there is the last underwater stone, the pitfall we had until we'd actually done with it. It's concerned about the network program, about the rewards and the cashback, the partnership program. Yes, this one very topic that make all the regulators deny and find excuses like, no, we're never gonna sign it. It's all the pyramidal scheme and so on. And yeah, we have really, if put it more easy, not using swears, a cunning and unpredictable story here, but there is a way. There always the way to actually go in by the law and rules, and what we actually done to make it to actually show and integrate the partnerships into our system, the network program, the cashback, and so on. More about that right away.
Mhm.
You can see the little great white magnificent creature on my right already coming to me. I just noticed my cat here.
Oh,
I wanted to get up and just take it on my hands, but it's basically just get to me myself. Come here, buddy.
what?
Show your beautiful snow-like face to everyone.
What?
Yeah, this
Mm,
little buddy always sneaking around and try to mess with the zooms. Great,
Little buddy.
everyone.
Да.
Damn, there's a lot of far now. Not only from this buddy, but also from the whole family. I have several cats, and they show a lot of affection and love, and yes, the fair amount of fur as well.
Да.
Okay, now going through back to the serious business part. Of course, we have a plan of decisions, a certain plan. If for some reason the whole process is going to be delayed by the regulators while we waiting for them to actually approve in the paper way in the documentation. We had plans for that, and we're going to talk about this later. Just after we're going to talk with you about the decisions, how we actually make it so the partnership program, the network program, the cashback is stay intact. What happened and what we managed to do. So, about the network program, about the cashback, the whole decision on the network direction, it's remained the same, which means the ranks, the conditions to acquire them, the rewards, uh, we just wrap it in a certain section as a separate legal company. Yes, that was the very topic what every lawyer just get their mind blown by working with us because basically how it works. The brokerage company share with the different company their income and profit, and such company is spreading, distributing the rewards between the members by the network direction. If we would work with the single level in deep program of, well, network program, it would be easy because very large amount of exchanges of different platforms actually using that way. But we working with the with a much more level deep system, and it's make it a little difficult because we need to consider the building system, we need to consider the strategies types and so on. So we basically made a separation so we wouldn't violate any rules or laws that were put by regulators, because in any other way they would deny it in approving such system. So basically, the system works in that way. We have a broker which works with the funds and on increasing the volumes by the trading. And the second company, which is actually distributing the rewards to the members. That's basically how it works, how we make it possible to still keep integrating into our system. Now let's get to the decisions we're gonna make if the whole process gonna be postponed by the regulators, if there's gonna be any delays on that matter, which we wouldn't want it. Get into that right now. And yes, now about the decisions we made and the whole part. About the start of trading platform, as I mentioned, it would be either after the discussion with Conclave or on the next Zoom, which is going to be on Thursday. Maybe we're gonna fast open the resource so the people can actually get on the exchanges and check them out, get used, adapt to the new things, to the interface, to the features, and then calculate their strategies. Everything's gonna work except well for the activity, for the trading, because we need to get through the regulatory process, and after that, after everything's gonna be approved, to receive the last confirmation in the paper form, then we're gonna continue such work. About Arbcore, there was a lot of debates, a lot of discussions. Basically, all we need to do is continue creating new contracts, but as I mentioned as well on the previous Zooms, Arbcore now work with the legal entities. All the physical entities, which is basically partners and so on, they are going on a different platform, which is a trading platform, to be precise. And about Arbcore, the same work, but different criteria, different volumes, different work. Just an example. Arbcore now, since it's work with the legal entities, the volume start from $2 million and higher. While on a trading platform, where all the physical entities going to be transferred, it's going to be the same as we all got used already, with the same volumes, with the same parts as we know it. Now, about the event, about the whole postpone of new dates for the hosting the event. Actually, the whole organization is on the leaders right now. I know we had planned to one date, and I didn't receive such information. But since Marika Angelova said, I gonna know this information now and gonna get more into that, because there's something strange with the hotel, and I guess it's gonna be dealt really soon. On Thursday, we're gonna get to that, and on the Zoom call, on the international Zoom call on this week, we're gonna talk about that as well. About the whole schedule of events, about the whole system, it should work the same as, well, we mentioned before, as we planned, the whole series of events, except if there's gonna be lockdowns. But because of course we know about what happening in the world, we have certain sources, which is a good one, and we know about hantavirus. So I can only say some guiding words, some recommendations from myself is to think about where you're gonna spend your next year, in which country, in which city, because we all know the economical crisis in such situations could happen, and lockdowns is situations that's gonna happen in maybe next few months. It's always happening, and we already know what to do. At the same time, since the lockdown is restricting their movement, maybe traveling at some countries between them, but in the same time, people getting more into work in internet, trying to find remote type of work, doing more activity in the web format, which is also great for us because the movement and flow in the exchanges in the internet gonna be better. So yeah, there's good sides and bad sides, but nevertheless, please keep your health in check, and please be careful, because your life is the most precious thing you have. So yes, that's my guiding words. Just plan your next year knowing that information, because lockdown is gonna happen, I think, at some point. Now, now, yes, now to the next parts. Okay, now it's the start of the new week right now, and since we didn't get all the answers we wanted to from regulator part, from the whole situation, that's why we're gonna host another Zoom on Thursday, where we're gonna understand what dates, what exactly when we plan to launch the platform, and we can get to the beginning of work process, because we opening the platform so that people can start actually interact with the platform, with the network, and either going planning their building of their teams and working, or simply going with the trading, or ending, terminating the contracts and recalculate their profit. That's why the Thursday gonna be a great and big dot at the moment when we're gonna understand the plans and the dates, when the actual work is gonna start and when the research is gonna be open publicly. Because some people want to plan their next steps, their strategy. Someone just want to prepare, and someone want to just get their funds. We all understand that. Now we're gonna need to meet again at the Thursday, and I'm gonna be glad to see you all here at the same time when we started today's Zoom conference. And in the final words, I guess, for this Zoom call, at the Thursday, besides deadlines, we are also going to talk about the partnership program, the network program, the cashback, and the whole work with the leaders, how it's going to be interact with us, how we're gonna face this situation, the conditions for work with arbitration, yes, arbitration contracts, and the risks of this arbitration, what you actually can face, what situation, how work with when there's certain situation happening on the technical part, on the legal part, and I think it's the best solution for us because we're gonna talk about the announcement of the trading platform, start of work, when it's going to happen, and also talking about the actual process that's connected to the platform, which is a technical part and legal part and so on. So yes, I wish everyone a good day, evening, night, or morning, depending on your time frame. And having a great day whatsoever, we're gonna face each other at the Thursday. So until we meet again, have a great day.